Hello, Culture Matters podcast. Boy, am I excited about this episode today. Before I introduce you to our guest, here's a quote just for this episode. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Peter Drucker, our guest, great friend of the Culture Matters podcast. Been on the show before. If you haven't heard episode 413, titled The Fast Track to Success. Get your butt over there after this episode. Go listen to it. Very different conversation. For the last 2+ decades, yeah, more than that, our guest has been visionary thinker, divergent thinker, someone that not only I count on, but a lot of people to think outside the box, take outlier ideas and make them into reality. We're talking about the one and only John New, founder of Work Merc, The Hub, 98 Octane, helping over 1 million vets get their lives together on the highest possible level as it relates to not just mental but gut health, overall physical well-being, while building an amazing company that we're going to talk about as well. But a great friend, and I always appreciate our time together, brother. And you're an inspiration to me. God bless Franzoni for introducing us. Look at all these years later. So thanks for coming back to the show.
It's good to be here, brother. And that quote, I didn't know what quote you were going to read, but that used to be on our walls. And I'm in the old Hub Sear Center, our second hub 20 years ago, but that used to be on our walls all the time, like the
Whoa,
best.
that's synchronous. That's like Carl Jung synchronicity
Behind the
stuff right
scenes.
there.
Yeah, on our walls. But
Holy cow.
yeah,
Seriously?
I'm a serious heart attack, dude. Yeah.
That's crazy to me because as the listeners know, I pick a quote before every episode. Like it's just kind of a feeling. I always look and for searching things out and like I think about the person and I attempt to associate the quote with the person. Like there's a meaning behind it. It's not a random thing. So that's really
Well, I'm
amazing.
flattered by that quote.
Holy cow. Well, I do now. I do want to know why that quote. What was so impactful about that at that time? You're talking about almost 20 years or 15 years ago to what
20, no, 25 years ago. Yeah.
holy
Uh, I don't know. I just like I don't like being a passenger on the ride of life. I like having the driver's seat and yeah. I as you and I were talking about for a second before going live, like I don't know why. Sometimes I joke that I wish I was just a passenger. I wish I was just like a W-2 at a big corporation and along for the ride, but I have a affinity for torture, I think, at times. But no, I really like creating things.
Yeah, yeah, we were chatting about like the consulting world and where paths, may or may not have led had things been different. Because I have so many smart, and I say smart and interesting, and I'm sure I would bet money you're in the same boat in that regard, friends and colleagues that may or may not have gone that route. What do you that route as in the management consulting world or the advisor in the corporate space, the corporate setting? What do you think is the difference or some of the differences between the entrepreneur that has those attributes, that has that, whatever that giftedness is, that is so valuable to companies, right? Because that is what that world is to companies. That's like, there's value there. That's why it exists. What's it about the entrepreneurial types that makes them just a little bit different to go out on their own? Because I'm sure there's so many smart people at these bigger firms. I mean, that don't take that leap, that don't create something that could will be remembered like you did and like what you're doing now.
I don't know. There's certainly a lot of books written about this, and a lot of people have a much deeper thought. But you put a gun to my head, and I would just say that uh, it's it's embracing. Um, I don't like the word fear, but embracing the unknown and fears. And I'm being dead serious. There's plenty of times where I tell fellow entrepreneurs, like, I really wish I was a W-2 and just a banker and kind of been pitched it and clocked in, clocked out. But I love the fact that, as I've always said, that you can make $10 tomorrow or 10 million. But many people, I think, struggle with it could also be losing 10 million or losing $10, right? Like not just making $10 every day. So just consistently knowing that you're going to make a few hundred or a grand or two a day gives you peace of mind in quotations. But I don't know. You and I are very sometimes overly philosophical to a fault of, I mean, you're an entrepreneur. You go through the same thing, but just,
Yeah, I'm trying not to quit is like the first step, right? There's the not quit
yeah.
piece. And it's
Mhm.
like, how much irrationality do I need to make this work? Like, no one else can see the vision. That's a question I have for you. Like, how are you able to sell? Because the people listening could really get this. You've done this. Like, how have you sold vision again and again? If you were to
Uh,
reverse engineer how you do it, because people believe in you, they continue to believe. How do you sell vision?
well, I think to the listener, uh, one's ears might perk up from a few lenses. I think to some entrepreneurs, you would think about your selling vision to outside stakeholders, to investors, right? But I don't see it that way. I think I remember 25 years ago, pretty sure Tom Watson is the founder. I think his first name's Tom of IBM. And I read a long time ago, you probably read this. People asked how he built IBM, and he says, before IBM was anything, I painted a picture of what IBM would be. While I was building it, it gets even better. I painted a picture of what IBM would be. After I built IBM, I painted a picture of what IBM would be, right? Like, so
Wow.
I think people need to always see the path forward. I remember, in building the hub, a few really dynamic team members who were just incredible, and I'd hire them to do anything and fight with them, said to me, unsolicited, we will stay with you as long as you keep moving forward. And that's just interesting little anecdote. I think just, people want to be with momentum. It's a little bit of physics in there. And so I think vision is painting a picture of just not being stagnant and having inertia. I just thought of that for the first time ever in your question.
Not being stagnant, having inertia. What does stagnancy look like versus
Right. It's like any of the great conquerors, right? Like Alexander the Great, just keep on damn moving. Like just no huddle offense. Like, uh,
no huddle offense? I love that. I'm writing that down. Oh my. Yeah, and Alexander, yeah, that's a great one. He didn't stop moving for 10 years.
right.
No, no, no. And in the literature about him, he had arrows and clubs, stones, arrows, clubs. There was a quote in one of his speeches before right after a coup d'etat actually against him, where he had all this is at the very end. He kind of became a little demagogic, or he's like, no, I have scars. Wait, my body's covered in scars, stones, arrows, swords, arrows, stones, clubs, all for the sake of your lives, your glory, and your wealth. Yeah, that's just like one little anecdote in this 10-minute speech. Get me started on Alexander the Great, man. Wow. No huddle offense. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think it's any great quarterback. I think of just keep moving the ball down the field. That's how I was an infantry platoon leader, and yeah, I just mean y- you know you can have analysis paralysis, and you can analyze the play you're going to do, talk too much about it. I just mean just just move as rapidly as possible. Um, Colin Powell always said, "I only need two-thirds of information to make a decision." In the battlefield, and just go. Like the clock is the only thing you can't control. I guess like someone, sports fanatic could debate that, but the spirit of it is that we don't control time. Let's just keep moving the ball in the field.
Hmm. If you had a word for 2024, what would it have been? Or did you have one? And
No, I didn't have a word. I've been going through as you know, a personal whirlwind, and then a lot of uh trying times and like exciting things with growth. I mean, it's probably the most exciting year in a long time, but I don't know. I think maybe discovery. Put a gun to my head. I'm just thinking out.
discovery. It's that makes me think of who was the guy that discovered it? Was it Christopher Columbus? In some circles he's still respected, but he discovered America, and look what has happened. I mean, are there are there any places in the world that where they were discovered where there wasn't something interesting or positive or constructive that happened after that, or is discovery a foreshadow of something, that infers something positive to me, but maybe I'm just a glass half full person. Right? You discover something. It seems like a very inspirational and constructive word.
Well, of course, I'm not surprised that like you're going down this like philosophical rabbit hole. I didn't really mean for that word to uh yeah, I think discovery means a lot of things. It's uh getting to the heart of a matter, getting to the truth. Discovery in a due diligence, mode is you're just gathering information. Uh you're you could discover the best path. I mean, I think I've shared with you over the years that Beyond 90 to Octane, the second biggest book I want to write is a book about entrepreneurship called The Running Back, and that
Mm.
all great entrepreneurs are like running backs. They're around my stature, 5'9", you wider than me, more muscle, but their job is to find a hole on 11-person line of a bunch of 6'8", 300-pound guys trying to kill you. And when you find that hole, sometimes you grab a yard or two. You're like Saquon Barkley, you can grab 10 yards, and then sometimes you haul ass, right? You can grab 90 yards. And then other times when there's not a hole, you just make sure you don't lose the damn ball and don't lose 10 yards, right? So I think that
Wow.
discovery is like finding your hole and finding where you don't belong, where you do belong. Don't go try to be a receiver. Don't be the quarterback, right? Like it means a lot of things, but just finding out what that optimal, where that win is, and then being honest with yourself. That's why I share with entrepreneurs all the time. When I founded the first veteran Shark Tank 12 years ago, up on stage and cursing like an infantryman to get through to them. But there's good and bad ideas. And it's not that Jay's a bad guy, but it's a dumb idea, Jay. It's a great idea. And you can't get hung up on your own damn ideas, but it comes through discovery. It comes from the discovery is just humility. Discovery is, um, but then, another saying is fight the enemy, not the plan. Like, hey, sir, you told us to shoot the right. I know, mother effers, but they're coming to the left. Adjust, right? Like, so you
Wow.
go out to market and you think you got a great plan and you had a lot of good advisors and maybe had a good thesis, but the market's behaving differently. Like the battle.
That that's impacting me on a deep level. Like, yeah, culture matters is not what I thought it would be when I thought that culture mattered, or it was like I would discover the new, cure for cancer or something, or that's how I felt when I had that revelation, right? Or it felt like a revelation to me. But it's not what I thought it would be.
Yeah,
Um,
well, and I'm looking at my like that four-letter word behind me, right?
yeah, it says grow for anybody not watching on YouTube, which by the way, I challenge you, go to YouTube, type in my name and you'll see this on YouTube, the Culture Matters podcast, John New. But yeah, go ahead, please.
Oh,
It says grow behind him.
that just means a lot of damn things, right? Like, there's plants back there, but just to grow, like to discover, to like to have culture matters grow, to have anything grow, you first have to go through the antithesis, and you get the thesis, antithesis to get the synthesis, and but all that's
Huh.
discovery. It's just, yeah, I'm about to vault, but you got to pivot, and you can't get caught up in your own. Uh,
What do you think about this? As the company's grown, I've had to wilt like it's like or the in some ways I've had to. It's like Nietzsche and the snake cast it. What's the quote? The mind ceases to be mind. The mind is like this a snake that shed. If you can't cast its skin, it ceases to be mind or something like that. Like the snake that sheds its skin, like the mind ceases to be mind. I'm leaving some hyperbole out of it, but like as a company grows, sometimes like yeah, I've had to adapt to the adaptation. I've had to break in some ways so I can grow anew to keep up with the growth of whatever it's becoming. And it's painful and like devastating and exciting at the same time. Well, that's why we get to have these conversations, right? It's like this is like therapy right now. It's like, you know, um, huh. I have a question actually about the running back, and because it's something I want to unpack because I would think without thinking it through that the quarterback might be the entrepreneur. So can you like what would be your sage on quarterback, running back dynamic? Because I could see, yeah. What are your
I
thoughts
don't
on that?
know. I I'm anti-cliche, so I think the quarterback theme is overplayed. I think the running back is I like the running back for, yeah, a quarterback doesn't want to get hit, right? It's just like the running back, but y- the running back, well, both you got to protect the ball. I don't know. I haven't thought a whole lot about it. Like it drives me crazy being a Philadelphia guy. I've never really dug into all the sports. I know you're the same way, right? So
But well, I want to say though, I think there's something genius there, and this is why. One thing that destroys culture, company culture, is when when that leader is unwilling to go in front of the troops and show them what it's like to get hit by the running backs taking those hits, the
yeah, sure.
quarterback,
Yeah.
right? It's like and a great quarter. So there's something there that I think is really wise of like how do you build Cosmo who now is friends with you. We met together. He's been on the show. He said locker room leadership.
Mm,
Which
yeah.
is similar to what you're saying. It was like that idea of like I want to be in the locker room. I want my hands and feet to be in the business. I'm not above it. I'm not like I want to be in
Yeah.
it. I'm not at I'm not investing. I'm getting it done. So
Yeah.
curious if you could speak to that. Like how important was that in the beginning, especially the beginning of your career when you were, um, I guess painting the painting like Watson before painting it the vision, right? Or you said
Yeah. 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 Right. Yes. Painted the.
because the reason I'm asking this specific, a lot of our listeners, okay, in my view, they're getting mixed signals when they go online, they read the self-help books. A lot of this, because I've read a lot of them and I follow a lot of people intentionally to see what's out there. And the information that I see a lot of the times is like there's a shame factor to entrepreneur. Like I should feel bad about myself because I'm working in my business. It's like an unsaid thing. And I'd let if you could speak to your philosophy on building something, having actually done it, because I see it differently. That there should be that I think that I'm proud that I get to work in it. Like,
Yeah. I think this is like a 6 to 7 hour conversation, but I see where you're going. That first of all, like training soldiers, American soldiers is and leaders is like training monks. You have to have humility. So I've always said that I'm the chief lettuce picker upper. There is nothing beneath me. And but it doesn't mean that it's a good use of my time for the entire organization to be picking up lettuce on the ground. But when you start with that servant leadership, so I was an infantry officer in the United States Army. I went to, all the HOA schools, Ranger School, Airborne School, and uh, infantry officer basic course. And we literally dig our own holes, right? And we had a Lebanese officer who said, "I don't dig holes. We have Egyptians that do that." And they said, "Well, no, here, the American Army, you're in American school, you're going to carry your own rucksack and you're going to dig your own foxhole." So I think that is a non-negotiable for me. But then I got to my infantry unit, and my platoon sergeant, um, Archie Hain, incredible guy. Actually, a footnote, died at 39 in his sleep. Just a sad story, but after a dining out. But I remember him saying, "Sir, I don't want you digging your own position and setting your tent up. We need you to do higher level stuff." So he understood I was willing to do it, but I had to go patrol the line like a business and make sure that Jay was in place, make sure that Justin was there, and it was all men at the time in the infantry. Um, so I think that's the bigger thing. Like that's the analogy to working in the business and on the business. But the willingness and the ability to do it, the humility, first of all, is what's important, and building that trust of everyone around you, and then everyone understand that from a systems perspective, because no business is a business without a system. Um, if we're all, uh, cooking the steak and glazing the potatoes at Del Frisco's, we just met with your other buddy recently. We're not able to pay attention to the line at the door, the delay at the bar, the bathroom hasn't been refreshed. That's a system, and we need the talented people to manage all of that. But
Mm.
you can't have a leader that's not willing to pick up a toilet paper roll. So again, 7 hour conversation, but
How does the leader that's unwilling to pick up the toilet paper roll impact the organization?
oh, all cultures live and die by the head of the fish. So yeah, it's just it's if it's above Jay, our leader, then I'm not gonna pick up a damn toilet paper roll. I'll send to somebody else, and then you die. Man, I'd be a
You
meat.
learned that from the military, you think?
Oh,
Because I'm asking specifically,
maybe.
it's hard because, or like wherever you learn, the reason I'm asking this is like our listeners, I believe, are being told, small business, very different ideas today. Because I follow that
Oh,
huge
really?
an
Oh,
influencer.
that's the case. Yep. You don't think
And
it's
the
what?
culture's changing. And I don't agree with the change. But I think you're speaking to something very deep. It's one of the I've listened to so many like true entrepreneurs, true as in like built things.
Hmm.
And it's something all of you say the same thing, but there's a whole other audience that has a big, speaker phone in this generation that's saying something different. So that's why I'm digging in on this. I think it
Yep.
comes a lot from you. I could say it 100 times on the show, but I think it's just me saying it. Um,
Hmm. So, first thing is that maybe from the military, but my upbringing was the military. So my dad was enlisted in Vietnam and was a colonel in the army. So I think he taught me a lot of that. My mom was not in the military, but she was tougher than my dad. She was more of a sergeant than my dad was, but they were both servant leaders. So yes, maybe, but I think it's also upbringing. But
wow.
it's interesting. Uh, we talk about at 98 Octane. Part of our appalling health stats as a nation is that we've been lied to and sold a bill of goods on neat little names like Betty, Betty Crocker or Aunt Jemima, whatever it is, like
Yeah.
cute little names of Jay and Jen. You deserve not to lift up a fucking finger and just put shit in the microwave, sit on your ass, and not do anything. Um, so I think similarly, like we've been sold a garbage bill of goods by marketing firms on easy, quick food, you deserve to do it. We've been sold a bill of goods. You deserve to sit on your ass and have everything come to you, and not have to pick up a toilet paper roll.
Yeah, like entrepreneurship has become this thing that almost like, oh, I want that.
Right.
But
Hmm.
do we really want that? They're going back earlier in our conversation, like the true stuff. I think I almost quit earlier today. Um, those are some of the most exciting days for me, frankly. It's like if I could just get through that morning, and then by the time I get to talk to John, I'm like, wait, this is why I do this shit. I fucking love it.
Yeah,
Like, no, I'm just
yeah. Well, I think too. I'm really big into brainwashing, and I mean that in like a really positive way. I brainwash myself. I've got things, if I was at home, I could walk you around my walls, and I have things like opportunity is often unseen because it disguises hard work, right? Like it's what you're talking about, right? And Confucius said something similar, right? Adversity allows for opportunity, and um, but that's really cute and easy sounding. What it means is it means a 4:30 wake up. It's negative 20 degrees outside. You feel like dog shit, and you got to go out into the rain, drive an hour, and then still go pick up the toilet paper roll, and you got to cut the cabbage because Jake called out, right? Like in the middle. But that's for your client Johnson Johnson or your client Jay and Jen, right? Like whatever it is, like right there in the middle, that little word adversity, it takes
uh,
form in ways that confuse us, and we feel entitled to. Like I ain't waking up at 4:30 in the morning. That's what blah 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 do, right? Okay, go f you. Like just this is what it means, right? And even and to be fair, even some of the I mean it in a quasi respectful way, that the softer people I know, I see like you do, they're harder than we realize, right? But even some pretty faces that are on TV all the time that sit on their fourth point of contact and they're duff. Dude, they do a lot of that shit we're talking about. At 4:30 wake up. Like I have a lot of friends like on TV.
yep.
It's hard, man. Like you got to be on, right? Like, and what you see and I see, which everyone else doesn't always translate, is it comes with that consistency. Like I remember years ago as a movie, All That Jazz, and part of the whole shtick was like, it's showtime, right? It's what he did every time in front of the mirror. But to do that is to just as we say in the military, shit, shower, shave, right? You do that like regularly, and
Mhm.
you get shaven, you motivate yourself, you look alive, you look alert, you take care of yourself. Like that's also hard work. Refraining
Yeah,
from free cocktails with friends, right? Come on, man. What do you wuss? Like there's hard work in there too. It's a commitment to showing up, right? It's a commitment to they're all kind of part of it.
I want to be honest. So there's a record. I have had to learn this from letting myself and others down. That's how I've learned. And today, specific, I believe a couple years ago I would have quit today, meaning like took the day off, made a rationalization or something. Because compared to tomorrow, today's like easy day. And but I took a shower. I asked for a little bit more time, took a shower, kind of like reset, and just went in. And I've had unbelievable. Imagine this never happened. Imagine we never did this. Imagine I cashed in some of my goodwill with you and others, and was like, "Hey, I'm not feeling well today. None of this would be." And I want this on the record straight, right? That you got the
Yeah,
firefly there. Like, I I'm more excited about Jay in 10 years. And I guess this goes to we could talk about end on how important it is also to have like health and gut and things because I'm more excited about Jay in 10 years, like of who I'm becoming. But of course, I have to stay around for the 10 years or 20. Like I'm excited about where Culture Matters, where the show's gonna Culture Matters as a firm. The Culture Matters podcast will be in your business and others people in my life where you'll and they'll be in 10 years. Um, that's what I'm excited for. I'm curious if you could if you could speak to that, what your thoughts are on that. Like I'm just reflecting on today. Like I took a shower and I reset and I went in and I've had to make a lot of mistakes. I guess also blessed, right, to be able to listen. It's like I'm getting coached every day by the guests. as I'm just constantly being told what I need to be doing. And eventually, I think it's starting to sink in.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a bunch of thoughts on it, but I had asked you earlier before we went live. I said, "You look good. Are you eating well?" And you go, and I just said to you, why
Yeah,
did you
just
answer that
question
question?
marks.
Why was it question mark, right? So this is not what you said. 'Cause I'm gonna include a relative. I have an uncle who struggled with substance abuse early in life, drugs, and he was a bum. And I'm proud of him for getting off that. But now he has a different kind of addiction and he is morbidly obese. He is pregnant with triplets, 9 months pregnant with triplets. And he tells me how he gets out of breath walking up the stairs. So I said, "How are you eating?" And he says, "It's hit or miss." This is a few days ago during the holidays. And I said, "Why the miss?" He says this. He says, "Well, because it makes me feel good." And I said, "Bullshit, dude. That's same thing with drugs, right? Like, so you could have said, it makes me feel good to not go, do what I had to do today. And it makes me feel good to sit and watch your favorite sitcom. It makes you feel good to sit on the couch. But see, that little thing that Confucius saying, that adversity, it doesn't have to be miserable. Like, this isn't miserable, as you just said. Like, not eating a whole hoagie with all that enriched flour and the glycinate and all of the other toxins in there that make you feel crappy, that alter your mitochondria, which alter your brain, as you said, which make you feel tired. That So it's just like drugs. Like, they make you feel good for a minute, right? Like, you would have felt good for a minute. You would have felt like dog shit for like canceling on your buddy John, canceling on Jeremy, right? And
Oh, tons of meetings. Yeah, just
everything, right? Like,
yeah.
so, but it all matters, right? Like, I've said forever, STM, small things matter. And that goes back to like, so anyway, just back to this, like, why the miss, man? I mean, like, in order to get off a range, as in like qualify for a range in the United States Army, I forget the minimum. It's like 29 out of 40 hits on the target. And the expert, which I was most of the time, like
Uh,
36 out of 40, right? Like, so why are you bragging about, like, why are you so, not you, why is my uncle so cavalier about misses? And why were you, now I'm picking on you. Why were you like,
Please.
well, I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like, it's not that hard, right? I could answer that. Like, I don't, I, I, I ate a bag of cashews or, a couple handfuls of cashews. I had some eggs. I don't have a miserable life, right? Like, I don't have a miserable diet. I slept well. It just, life's all about good habits. Small things matter, but every little thing matters, right? Like, it matters that when you walk in front of that lettuce to pick it up, it matters when the toilet paper roll is empty, you pick it up. Now, you can't like redo the whole bathroom because you're not paying attention to the bar. Back to that example, not to belabor it, right? So you have to understand how to manage it. But yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. But I think like we have had, and it's very interesting you picked up on it and you have a different perspective because I don't have enough time to study it. I study more of like why we're all sick, tired, and dying and fat, um, as a nation and veterans. But it is the same theme of, you deserve, Jay, Jen, and Jane, and John, to not do blank. You deserve. Bullshit.
You deserve. Yeah. Life is too unfair to give to undeserving people. Charlie Munger. I want to. Oh yeah, I think for the So the first thing that comes to mind is I'm smart in spots and dumb, or less capable in a great fast, and I think this is where the audience to listen carefully. It's like this is why you have relationships, John, and trust. This is accountability, right? What you think. It's like, what is John saying? Oh, he's saying what I definitely know. That's why I got Michael Christensen. Shout out to Michael on the show. Adam Geiger. Shout out to Adam. I have to get professional and personal relationships around me to have more clarity around the answer to the question that my friend asked me before we hit record. In the context, whatever that context is, in this context, it's like, how are you eating? Great. This is what I'm eating. This is why, and this is how it's benefiting. Or, yeah. So and this reminds me of a lot of Peterson's work. He talks about the aim, have an aim. I like an aim, have an aim, know where you're aiming. Like, how do you say no unless you know what you're aiming? And then our values are tested in the no. So, and like in contextual, right? Like, I feel very confident of where my aim is in the context of Culture Matters in 25, 26, 27, the Culture Matters podcast. But then, of course, you ask me a question about that, and I get all weird. And it's like, well, yeah, I need to have conversations like this with people that care. I got to get advisors. I got to make the investments of time and energy and money, whatever that looks like for people, right? So I like, um, so I
So,
appreciate
yeah,
I
so
like, yeah, thanks for that. And you're right.
well, here's a quick little question for you, right? This is a test for everybody and for you. So you have a vehicle, right? You and your wife have a vehicle or
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, uh, in past week, past year, past month or two, are you taking care of it? Have you put orange juice, iced tea, or vinegar into your gas tank?
No, sir.
Why?
I'm pretty sure that would be a costly bill. That thing might not be,
Oh, really? Really?
yeah, it would
So,
break
so
down. We can't even get it back, I don't think.
But why did you not hesitate with that? You knew the effing answer right away. You didn't even fucking take a millisecond to think about it. Because you, like we talk about 98 octane, pay more attention to what you put in your car, your lawnmower, your weed whacker than your body. But you effing hesitated, like, I don't know about your body. You don't respect your body enough and your mind and everything else. Like,
No way, I don't.
you respect your
I
whatever
take it for
car
granted.
it is. Yeah, you're gonna have 7 cars in average as Americans in your life. You have one body. But
I
anyway,
take it for granted.
you take it all for granted. I did too. I did. Yeah. But anyway, but see, I'm
I
only
love it.
illustrating. You didn't hesitate for a second. You won't even fathom putting Arizona iced tea in your car.
No, it's ridiculous. What are you drinking?
Yeah, yeah. That's a stupid question, right?
It's me, the culture, right? The culture.
Yeah, it is a culture. It's a culture of yeah.
It's the culture.
Like
But I
this is
like how you said,
absolute. This is a maybe.
I
You
like how
deserve
you said
to
everything
have a
matters.
cake.
That was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say that, wait, say that again. What?
You deserve to have a cake, Jay. Come on, it's your birthday. We're on vacation. You're with buddies. There's always an if. Like there's always a reason. Come on, it's John's birthday. It's
Hey, I
Kate's
just had a
last day.
realization. Why don't we nudge people away from cake?
Maybe.
Like there's some, I don't, yeah, part
You know,
two.
we show people we love them with cake. We show people love them. We bring cake and donuts. We show people we love them with a 69-gram sugar Starbucks drink.
Like if I want your technology on my connecting my Aura ring so it nudges me when I'm about to do something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
You,
right.
I mean, I'm just saying you're the innovator here. We
Right.
haven't even gotten to that. That'll be part two. But for the listeners that don't know, because I'm going to ask them how, how they can connect with you. You have created technology that, all sorts of smart people use, government, private companies, to help people uh, act in ways that benefit them and others ultimately. So anyway, I'm just like, yeah, nudge me when I'm about to eat cake, and that could be like $1 trillion market right there. But how? Yeah. What would be the best way for people that are listening? They want to get connected with you, and where can they go to get start a conversation with you, and get learn more about 98 Octane, everything that you're about, work, Merck, all your companies and your initiatives.
Yeah, as you know, 90octane.com. 90 Octane is my life's calling. I just turned 50 a few weeks ago. I'll be doing it for the next 70 years. I'm gonna try to push for 80 or 90. I'm 130, 140, but I think 120 is pretty realistic. It is not about your lifespan, it's about your health span. I want to be sharp. I want to be able to spend time with my friend Jay. I want to be able to walk down the block with him without pain. And I just want to help a million fellow veterans and first responders live healthier lives. And then, the metaphor, you, as Bill Murray says in Stripes, Jay, you weren't dumb enough to join Uncle Sam, but you do share that same, you understand the metaphor. As so, we're building a plane in flight. We're imperfect. So if you can't find me, keep keep pinging us, and I love the help in any way. Work Merc, is how we pay the bills beyond nonprofit, and that's the nudging platform you talked about that working with the Air Force on. So we love to commercialize that. We believe that when Jay and John forget to refill the toilet paper roll, I don't believe humans are dumb at all times. I don't believe that they're eternally agnostic and apathetic. That's that the forgetting curve. We forget 90% of what we told in a week, and then even more over a short period of time. And uh, so yeah, I would, I just want to help. And I really care a lot about the people who raised the right hand to die for this great country and serve others. I want to serve them, and I love what you're doing, man. I love you, and but I just love everything you do. You give back to the world, and
Love you too, brother. Thank you all for listening. I challenge you to get connected with John and participate. Please leave us a review on the Culture Matters podcast, and we will see you next time. Appreciate you, brother.
hey, man.